Oh hi, I didn't see you there. Today we're going to talk about cinema lenses and why I think that if you can't afford something like the Rokinon 50mm T1.5, maybe you should look into something like this. So this is another short video today where we're going to be talking about lenses, and the cool thing with lenses is they all give you different looks, and there's no such thing as a one lens is best for everything. One of my favorite things about lenses is collecting them for their different characteristics. So with this 50mm Rokinon, it's kind of my workhorse lens. Like, I know that these Rokinons, and I have a set of 6, are gonna give me the same results pretty closely across the board. And that's really good when you need to change focal lengths, but you don't wanna change characteristics. But if you can't afford a set of 6 cinema lenses, and these are not the most expensive, maybe you should look at the Canon FD line. So one of the things I like about Canon FDs is they actually share a little bit of the same architecture in their design as Canon's K35 Cinema Prime set. So with that being said, you know that they're going to have a little bit of that lineage in them. I went out yesterday and took some shots with the lenses. I wanted to see the kind of difference at 50mm between this and the Rokinon. So with those shots, I just took some generic kind of photos of flowers, kind of anything that wasn't disgusting this time of year around my house. So one thing I noticed really quick is that the focal length is not exactly perfect. I'm assuming it's probably something to do with converting the 50mm Canon FD from 1976 to L mount on the Panasonic S1. But that doesn't really bother me too much. Focal length is focal length. If it's closer to 40, fine. Doesn't really matter to me. What I wanted to see is what kind of fidelity the image could give out wide open and what kind of characteristics it gives it. Focus breathing. Hard to do it handheld, to be honest. I would say that maybe focus breathing is a little bit less controlled here. It looks like there's a little bit more zooming rather than things going in and out of focus. Interesting. It's easier to operate the focus ring, however. There's wide open, and it does quite a good job. It's very sharp, very little chromatic aberration, lots of detail, tons of bokeh. In every sense of the word, this is a better lens. Here we are again, wide open, 60 frames a second, T1.5. Just look at that detail. Quite close, minimum focusing distance is really good. How can you complain about this? So one of the things I noticed yesterday is that the Canon 50mm at 1.8 actually lets in more light than the Rokinon does at T2, which I believe is 1.8 as well. So that being said, it's kind of a neat thing. Now you can chalk that up to one lens might be different from another, but to get more light is less noise in every circumstance. So that's a pleasing result to get from these Canon FD lenses. Granted, the glass might be a little bit less sharp wide open with this 50mm than the Rokinon is at T2, but that's okay. It honestly gives a little bit of this dreamy pro-mist look that I don't really mind. To conclude, is the Canon FD as good or better than the Rokinon? Definitely not. And that's okay. We're not comparing whether one is better than the other, but what we're trying to show here is that this Canon FD lens, which I picked up for $39, can hold its own if you can't afford to jump into a set of cinema primes. You know, 6 times 4 is 24, so maybe for $240 plus an adapter, you can get a set of Canon FD lenses that can do the job for you. It's a good way to jump into it. If I was deciding to get into filmmaking right now and I couldn't afford the set of cinema lenses, I'd probably go with Canon FD. Gives a nice character, could kind of forego a little bit of that pro mist shooting wide open, and the light transmission's pretty good. So all things considered, jump into a set of Canon FD primes, or if you got the money, go for the Rokinons. They are a better set of glass with having gears and everything you need to rig up your camera, but you know, it's not gonna change the way that you make films if you're a solo shooter. So anyways, guys, I hope that was a fun little look into Canon FD for cinematography. I'll try to shoot some more examples of it in a video sense, and we'll go from there.